Good morning, welcome to the channel. Today is Monday, and today is another work from home day, but I am doing it from actually the hotel. So work from hotel day in DC. I'm still like on my weekend away trip to like kind of reset my life. The past 2 days have been really productive, so those vlogs will be up. I don't know how much narration I have in them, if I'm being honest, but I was able to do a lot of things I wanted to do, get some good food in, that sort of thing. And then today is Monday and I have already signed into work a little bit early. And oh, the other thing is the Super Bowl was yesterday, so there's actually a Starbucks deal, and I don't buy from Starbucks because many reasons, but they have a free Starbucks coffee and I just really need just a coffee. And I was telling my friend yesterday that I'm just really boring. So on vacation, I try to like treat myself for like something exciting, but I honestly just want hot brewed coffee or an iced coffee. So the fact that usually it's like $5 means I'm going to take advantage of this Starbucks free hot coffee for today. I think the weather is kind of holding off right now. I opened the blackout blinds. I'm not going to open the full curtains because there's an office right next to me and I can already see people kind of moving in there, so I don't need them to watch me. I have plans to leave the hotel probably in like the afternoon for lunchtime, and then just work from a cafe afterwards. So if you haven't been following along, I have been collecting different leftovers and breads and stuff, so I have quite a few bread options in the hotel. Today I have the black sesame donut, which I'm probably going to eat for breakfast today, and that's from Rose Ave, but I also have like a biscuit, what's it called, a cupcake, and then that's from Baked and Wired. Highly recommend Baked and Wired. I have a tiramisu from the bubble tea shop yesterday, Secret Tea, that was by GW and kind of like by the Department of State, kind of by the White House. And then I also have a bubble tea, so I'm gonna have the bubble tea and the donut for breakfast. Also, I just think he's so cute. And my friend got the little toy called a Palm Pal, and we've been like looking at them, and there's so many options, and they have a backstory. So they're retiring one that I'm very tempted by, but I'm not going to do it, but it's a cauliflower, but they have a backstory about their personalities, so what they're known for in their friend groups, and their best friend within the collection of Palm Pals. Anyway, she's very happy with her purchase. She got the little panda Palm Pal, and it was cheaper to buy it. I think it was $10 at the gift store at Smithsonian, but if you buy it online, it's like $11.09, which I thought was a very odd price. I was so tempted by that glue. The glue was so cute, the Palm Pal glue. If they would have had the Snoopy in a NASA costume yesterday at the Air and Space Museum, like the Palm Pal version, I maybe would not have been able to resist because he's kind of cute. But also he's a little bottom heavy because it's a Palm Pal, so it's supposed to sit in your palm. The bubble tea has melted the ice. You can see there's like the ice water layer, but this is the black sesame donut from Rose Ave. Very excited. The donut, it's actually quite large, but it does have like the little black sesame cream on it. Okay, let me try to eat it cleanly. So this is what it looks like. It's like relatively dense, but it's kind of like a yeast style still. It's not like fully like a cake style, if that makes sense. But it is filled. I'll have to bite through. I forgot to cut the filming. It was messy, I dropped it, so I had to clean up a little bit. But I did get into the cream part. I would say the little puff on the top. Would not recommend buying a savory and a sweet and having them in the same container. It was kind of like garlic scallion flavored, so I'm gonna have some more, but I'm gonna have to hold it over the box because it would not have been messy if I would have been continuing to hold it over the box when I ate it. It would obviously be better yesterday if I would have had it because it was like kind of fresher, obviously. The black sesame is like kind of there, but it's not like super black sesame. And if you're not a huge black sesame fan or you've never tried it before, it kind of has like a nutty kind of flavor. So like tahini, it's kind of like that, but it has a little bit more of a nutty flavor in my opinion. Whereas tahini, I guess, is a little bit like a creamier flavor. It is a little messy though, so don't eat it in the car because you get sugar everywhere. Do I just not understand office work, even though I've been working in offices forever? Why do some people want to be included in every single meeting? It's like, I don't even want to be in that meeting, and I'm the one who called the meeting. Like, in their messed up thinking about being in like 10,000 meetings, is it because they think it'll protect them from layoffs? Because also that's not how layoffs work. I also did not sleep that well last night because the website says that they have like really good soundproofing in the rooms. It's not very good. I could hear the guy next to me coughing a lot, and then there was another guy having a bad time in the bathroom a lot, and then there was also like outside a lot of people, I think, celebrating the Super Bowl with some screaming and yelling, and it wasn't like fighting, it was just like adulation is the wrong word, but excitement. And then there was like some dogs that were not happy outside, and then it was just quite loud last night, so I only got a couple of hours of sleep, so I might be dragging a little bit today. Okay, I'm popping out quickly to get my free coffee from Starbucks, and again, I don't buy from Starbucks. At least it was free. The sadness, I was so excited. So there's this focacceria that I was really looking forward to eating at, and it doesn't open till Wednesday. So I could not have, I was so excited to have a focaccia sandwich. I'm actually in a good groove right now, so I might actually just order delivery to the hotel because I have some meetings in the afternoon. I don't know if I want to take them in public, that sort of thing. There's also like a Soul Spice, which is, I guess, kind of like Chipotle, but for Korean food, next block over towards the train station. There's a Potbelly, don't really like Potbelly that much, and a Moe's, which is kind of like Chipotle, I guess. I do like the chips from Moe's, so I am kind of considering that, but I'm also like not wanting anything too heavy, but I'm also thinking that I need some vegetables. I do have a question. So Seamless and Grubhub are now the same company, but why are the prices different? Because I have both apps, and it now says Seamless, a Grubhub company, and I'm like, did they negotiate better prices when they were Seamless with some of these places or something? Because the prices are different. Otherwise, I'm going to look at Uber Eats and DoorDash to figure out which is the best deal. The other day when my friend and I were craving chowder, actually I had the craving and she's like, that sounds actually really good. Anyway, I love chowder, even though Cream and me, not the bestest of friends, but we're also not enemies. But anyway, we had been looking, and there was this like chain that kept coming up. It's like a lobster roll chain. It's not Luke's, it's Mason's, I guess. Anyway, I just looked, they have a buy one get one free offer for clam chowder. So do I do that? They also have it for lobster bisque, and I was also thinking lobster bisque sounded pretty good. But that's a lot of soup. But I do have that leftover bread from the other restaurant, so maybe I should just do that so I can eat soup, because I love soup. It is an option. And I do love me a chowder, as I've mentioned multiple times at this point in this clip. I have decided, I have determined chowder is the way to go. It is high fat, I understand, but this is vacation. I also need to eat that bread. I'm gonna put the order in soon. It's also 2 cups, so I think that it's gonna be equal to like 1 bowl serving. And I'm actually not that hungry right now because I ate that donut. I'm also thinking about like what to eat for dinner. I think I'm gonna try to hit up like a happy hour and do like small bites or something, maybe sushi. I don't know, I just said sushi, but I'm like, am I ready to risk sushi yet? Turns out I should have ordered my chowder a while ago because now it's going to take like 50 minutes. But that just means I'm going to get my lunch by like 1:15. But yeah, I'm going to get back to editing my documents. The bane of my existence every day. So I kind of assumed this would happen because like soup is like not super difficult to produce because they probably have like a huge pot of it. So it is already here, so I'm going to go grab it. Oh, okay, housekeeping. Got my food. It was really quick actually. It still feels quite warm, so that's happy. Nothing's worse than a cold chowder. But I got it from Mason's. 2 packs of soup and oyster crackers. Those are actually my favorite. And then I got 2 cups of soup, and they did wrap it in foil, which, number one, very grateful because it is quite cold out actually, so the foil kept the heat in, and also I think it helped so that nothing leaked. I'm also going to have the rest of that biscuit and the garlic knot that was still left over from Founding Farmers, Fishers, and Bakers that we had on Saturday. So again, Founding Farmers is like the original location. I think it's on K. And it's fine. It's like very, you know exactly what you're gonna get, but it's never like spectacular, if that makes sense. But it's something that's like always safe because you know exactly, again, what you're gonna get. But the Farmers, Fishers, and Distillers or something like that, which is over by the convention center, I was considering going there for dinner. That one is a little bit better, and I do think I like the Founding Farmers, Fishers, and Bakers, which is in the Georgetown waterfront the best out of the 3 that I've tried. I think they also have locations for founding farmers in like Maryland and Virginia, I believe. Anyway, I'm quite hungry, so I'm going to eat this and then get back to work. I also have to call because they apparently purchased my airplane travel ticket, but then the ticket expired because I didn't see that they had booked it already, and I was supposed to confirm it in 24 hours, and they sent it on Friday and I didn't see it. I did prepare it. I opened my spoon and the oyster crackers. I do think I like it. It is definitely a lot different than the Founding Farmers, Fishers, and Bakers chowder. This one is also less salty, but I think that the taste is more like generally what you think of when you think of a chowder, whereas the Farmers, Fishers, and Bakers had a little bit of extra like herbs, I think, in it. I want to say tarragon, but I don't think that was true at all. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna finish eating this, then get back to work. I have a lot of stuff to take care of. I should have planned better. I forgot that, like, in cities, restaurants tend to be closed on Monday. Most of the restaurants I wanted to go either are serving a special menu today, like Mondays, which is not what I want. Like, there's this Japanese fusion place that I kind of wanted to go to, and they are only serving cheesesteaks, and I don't like cheesesteak. So, I did look. They do have donburi bowls, but I'm also, like, I'm not a hugest donburi fan, so sadly, I will need to find something else to eat. But I do think what I'm going to do is, just so I get a little bit of touristing in today, since I'm like here, you know, and kind of been stuck at the hotel, is a National Portrait Gallery. So I'm going to check that out, even though the biggest, brightest thing is the Trump portrait. I guess he is the president, so I have like a couple more hours of work here to get done, and then I can go on my tourist time and try to find some food somewhere. I'm sure I'll stumble upon something. Okay, signed out. Gonna head to the National Portrait Gallery and the American Art Museum. I think they're in the same building. Might not actually be the American Art Museum. Whatever. I'm gonna go there. I think I'm taking the bus because it's cheaper. So much new construction. This is crazy. So as I thought, National Portrait Gallery is in the same building as the American Art Museum. There's also an alumni event going on right now for my school, but like a different college within my school. So part of me is considering pretending I went to that school. But imagine my shock when I opened the door and there were like my school's emblem on all of the tables. JFK is interesting. Also, nobody's here. I'm going up the central staircase. There's one more portrait I want to see, but I don't know if I can get up there from here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be in here. This LL Cool J one is new. Okay, ignore the police lights. At least they're lighting up my face. I'm going to try to get into Succotash. And if I can't get into Succotash, I guess I'm going to go back towards the hotel. There's like a Mexican place that I kind of want to try, but we shall see. I also only have 60 cents left on my bus card, so I'm going to have to refill it, but it's on my phone, so it's okay. We'll see if I can get in. It's pretty hard to get in. And I think there's no reservations, but it's like Southern style mixed with a little bit of like Asian inspired. Cheeseburger, and then also the milk punch from the happy hour menu was top 8. I didn't really eat the fries, so it's bonus. Dinner was actually really good. Would highly recommend that burger. I didn't know what to expect from bacon jam, but it was like kind of like brisket smoky flavor. I'm trying to decide if I'm walking back, taking the train back, or taking the bus, because I'm right by Metro Center, so I could easily take the train, but also like don't want to pay $2.30 or whatever. I don't know. There was just a shooting though, so I don't know if I want to, risk it. Oh, my family and I went here before. No. We've been to Moon Rabbit, but it was at the wharf, and that used to be like a different restaurant and a bar. That was actually pretty good. I wonder what happened to it. That was like back in the day though. So anyway, oh, there's a Leica store. I'm like kind of thinking I'm not gonna make it back tomorrow because all of the news is saying it's gonna like snow like crazy from 1, and then it's supposed to be really bad from like 1 until like 7 in the morning. So I don't know if I explained myself well. So there was a shooting at Union Station. They found like a guy in the parking garage, so that's like one station for me, so I don't know if I'm gonna go there. I mean, I don't know if I should walk, that's what I mean. Oh, but yeah, the restaurant was really good. Bar is first come, first serve, and they were super busy. I think it was like unexpectedly busy for them. They were like running around, and they had to find like extra people to help with the bartending. I don't know why there's so many police everywhere though. That's kind of weird. They always have their lights on too. I decided since it's 8 o'clock, I'm gonna head into Harris Teeter because I want to take a look to see if there's like any regional chips or anything. That grocery store was so expensive. So I'm gonna look at the CVS by the hotel to see if they have something because I still have my coupons. It was so expensive and all the stuff looked kind of not so great. It's just like a regular grocery, but it's so expensive. These sound very nice, but not for $12 after tax. I am back after my excursion. So the portrait gallery was kind of nice. So I did think it was strange because they didn't have Obama. I mean, no, they had Obama. They didn't have Biden, and they didn't have Clinton. And I thought it was a little strange, especially Clinton, because like they had Obama, The event that was there, I was trying to sneak in, trying to figure out how to do it. So I was gonna say that I was one of my friends, and then see if I could get in. But then the people were treating me so rude. Not like my school staff. It was like the alumni were so rude. Even when we were like in school, whenever we went to like grad school events, that particular school was so rude to my school. They always thought they were so much better than us, which is like whatever. But also like I was just like a member of the public. Like the museum was still open like when I was in there. It wasn't like I snuck in and was like pretending to be them, even though I wanted to because I wanted the free food. So they were like treating me like I worked there, which is also rude because the people who work in the museum don't work for you. They're just making sure you don't like deface the art, or like if there's a security threat that you get out safely. That's their job. They don't have to like, anyway, this one lady was so rude, so rude. I was leaving, like I was exiting the museum from where it says exit, and I'm wearing a winter coat, I'm wearing jeans, and I'm wearing my purse. And she's like, can you tell me how to get to the blah, blah, blah event? I said, oh, I wasn't going to help her because she was kind of rude. Like, she was demanding that I help her. And I was like, no. She's like, well, can you help me with a suitcase then? I said, no, ma'am, I don't work here, but even if I did, no. I said, I'm a guest. She's like, well, I mean, like, you work here, though. I said, no, I'm a guest. She's like, oh, you're a guest? And I said, yeah, that's why I'm coming out the exit. I'm actually technically not even a guest anymore. I'm leaving. And she was so rude. And then she like got really mad that I wasn't gonna help her with her suitcase. She's like, well, I mean, I'm trying to go to the blah 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 school event. I said, yeah, I understand. It's like, I'm sorry. And it's also like, if you didn't go to my school, you don't even know what that school means. Yeah, it still holds true. They're kind of dicks. And then it's also like, I didn't want to be like, yeah, well, at least I still have a job. Because anyway, that would have been so mean. But I do still have a job. And their particular school maybe does no longer have a job. Anyway, that is that. I found nothing in Harris Teeter. That was kind of it was kind of a sad grocery store. But I mean, it's like good that there is a grocery store location, even though like the Trader Joe's is like a 10-minute walk from here, so it's not too bad. It's by like Union Market. The store was like very expensive, so I was gonna just buy yogurt for in the morning, but then I was like, no, I have protein bars, I can eat the Cliff Bars. It's, you know, like stable snack, like literally stable. But yeah, I was gonna buy a yogurt, but like those small Chobanis were $3.89. I was like, that's so expensive. But then they got down to being like $1.80 if I had like the Vic card. I don't know what that even means. They also didn't have any chips, and I was like, well, maybe I can buy some fruit. And then the cut fruit was like $9 for pineapple. I was like, okay, number one, I also don't trust cut fruit. My mom buys it all the time because she doesn't like cutting her own fruit. But like, the cut fruit is like how you're gonna get a food poisoning. Anyway, what an exciting day. So the happy hour is kind of long. When I sat down, I thought it was like gonna be over. So I was like squinting in the bar like an old person trying to read the happy hour, because the 8 was like kind of looks like a 6 because of like the font was like weird, so it kind of like had like curly for the 6. So I asked, they're like, yeah, it goes till 8. So I had the burger, and I was kind of considering having something else because I kind of wanted a salad, but the burger sounded good, and it was like on both the main menu and the happy hour, so I figured it was like kind of a classic item for there, and it was so good. So it was seasoned really well, kind of smoky, so it had bacon jam, which was quite smoky. I even ate the ketchup, and I don't even like ketchup, but it had gochujang ketchup, and then the fries were also quite nice. I definitely overate. And then I had the top drink, milky something, milk jam something. Anyway, it was quite nice as well. Really alcohol forward. I don't know what's going on. I think I heard security outside. But it was very smooth and somewhat sweet, and I would recommend it. And both of those items together came after tip like $31 total for dinner, which I think is pretty decent. I mean, all of my dinners and brunches have been about $50 to $60, which is what I imagine I would spend if I go out to eat in like a city. So this one coming in at like 30, 31 is pretty darn good in my opinion. Also, the service was really nice, and I don't know, it was like kind of busy for a Monday night in my opinion. And I think I figured out why the hotels are so booked. There's apparently a lot of sporting events today. There was like basketball people. They were wearing jerseys that like Curry. He's basketball, right? Steph Curry. And then there was like a woman in science event, and then there's a lot of high schools here as well. Good morning. It is Tuesday. I'm rushing to Dunkin' before work, finish packing and stuff. I also text my friend to say, can I sleep on your floor if I get stuck here? But I need to go grab my Dunkin'. It was $3 and it's like around the block, so I'm gonna go grab that quickly. Also, I'm like, is the snow even coming? People are wearing moccasins. Unless they assume that they're gonna get released early because of the snow. It's a lot whiter and creamier than I thought it was gonna be, but that's on me. I forgot that Dunkin' was just a whisper of coffee, mainly just milk and water. So, on me, but there was no line. Well, there was kind of a line, but my drink was already ready. It just wasn't on the mobile order pickup area. Okie dokie, so I am back, and checkout's at 11. I have a timer set for 10:50. It'll give me enough time to go down one floor and then check out, hopefully. And I think after that, I think I'm gonna just take my suitcase. I was considering leaving my suitcase here and then going to Union Market, but I think if the weather does turn, I'd rather just have my suitcase and just be able to go in a Lyft or an Uber right away. Anyway, it's just an iced coffee. I don't know why it's so white, but it is. I also have a straw somewhere around here. Anyway, gonna drink my coffee, answer a bunch of emails. I already took care of a few before I headed out on my little excursion. But the Dunkin' experience was so much faster. Starbucks yesterday was so long, and like I even left and came back. It was so long. In a true Breakfast of Champions moment, I have this leftover tiramisu that I got at that bubble tea shop. It really is a real glass. I don't know how they budget for giving away real glasses as a tiramisu, but that's what it looks like. But part of me is like scheming. Do I take home this glass cup? Actually, I'm now like, is it tiramisu or is it like a pudding? Honestly, not sure. It's fine. I don't think it's tiramisu. I have honestly no idea what this is. I think it's a pudding, but breakfast. Good thing I didn't buy that $4 yogurt. Just kidding, as a hyperbole. But anyway, I'm gonna finish this. I just looked out the window because I had the blinds open a little bit. I now understand why it was so loud. So they started making like construction noise at about 5:50 this morning, which sucked. But they're building something. My guess is another luxury apartment. Also, on my quick jaunt to the Dunkin' Donuts, usually I walk around with my AirPods in, even if they're not connected to anything, because then I can just ignore people. I forgot to put them in, so I was just ignoring people, and I got caught because this guy kept asking me stuff. I thought he was going to ask me for cash, but he was like asking me for like directions to something, and I like literally had no idea. He was like asking where to buy something, and I think it was like a phone card or something, and I was like, I don't know what you're asking. He's like, well, like a grocery store. I said, there's the grocery store right there across the street. So I eventually did have to answer, but I like legitimately was just standing there in silence, hoping he would go away. So, lesson learned. Always put your AirPods in. Before I forget, sorry, I'm in between emails and meetings. This hotel is good for one person, I think. Or else you have to like really not be staying in here to like do a bunch of stuff in the room, because it's like kind of small, but I mean it's exactly what I needed for a single person. The other thing is yeah, that tube frosted glass lit up shower thing. Let me show you. So that's the shower. You can even see in there that stuff in there. That's the shampoo. But yeah, like there's no way to like hide it. There is like the curtain, but it's sheer. The other thing is, in order to access that at night, because the blackout curtains are very blackout, you have to use the iPad to turn it on nightlight mode, which means it'll turn on that colored light, which could wake up people in here if there was anybody else in here. The other thing is the bed. It is quite large, but the mattress is super duper firm, and I don't really enjoy a firm mattress quite as much. And the other issue is that duvet. So the duvet is like, well, actually the issue is compounded by the duvet, but it's quite breezy in here, and I can't tell if it's because the heat doesn't work, because again, I have it on like 77, and I should not be able to wear 3 shirts, including a very thick sweater, if it's 77 degrees in this hotel room. And at night it's even breezier, so I don't know what it's like in the summer. So again, this is like winter time review, but yeah, the duvet was like thick, but then also not thick enough. I had to double it up, but then it's also like not quite wide enough to double up and be like fully covered, you know, if you toss and turn a little bit. I do like they have like the little cooler thing, but I don't think it gets cold enough to like keep a bunch of stuff like cold. It is kind of like a pull-out drawer, but it's kind of more like a cooler than it is like a fridge. It's like a mini fridge, so I don't think necessarily it would get cold enough. Like, for example, I don't know, I can't, just by hand testing it, I don't think it gets cold enough for if you have medicine that needs to be stored in there, but I don't know. You'll have to check it yourself, because that's your responsibility if you have medicines. And then again, that faucet, the angle is just wrong where the faucet is. So, you know, like how there's like the plug thingy, the drain cover thingy that's supposed to go up and down? You can't control that. Number one, you can't like put it down or put it up. The other problem is faucet being offset from the middle. Then when you like spit toothpaste, for example, the water goes around the bowl of the sink, and then because of that, it moves the toothpaste spit into the off side of the sink that doesn't have the faucet, so you have to get like a cup and pour it to get the toothpaste spit down the drain. I'm sorry, that's very graphic, but it's very annoying. And then also with the issue with like sometimes when I put toothpaste on, it comes off, and then it got stuck in there and I couldn't get it like in, and then since I can't raise the thing up without completely like, you know, twisting it off and like getting it off the hook, which is not something I'm going to do in a hotel, the toothpaste is still stuck in there. So I tried to clean it the best I could, but I couldn't. And then also the whole like housekeeping only comes every 3rd night, and they should have come yesterday, but again, I didn't request it before 4 a.m. and it would have been nice to have a refresh of towels, especially if somebody else would have been in here. We would have been like, otherwise the hotel like location is pretty good. A lot of complaints online about there not being a coffee maker in the room, but I also think, and also like the coffee in the lobby not being free, but I also think that this is like a 4-star hotel, and I think 4-star hotels don't usually give you free stuff. And people like to complain about it, but I don't think, like, I think maybe it's like a 2-star or below, like Hampton Inn, you get like free stuff. Never went to the bar or anything downstairs. Oh, but the construction noise is quite loud. And again, it did start very early, very early. Luckily, I had to work. I would have been super mad if it was like, I was just here on vacation, you know, like visiting from like, let's say UK, and I was just here to like go to like the tourist stuff, and I woke up at like 5:50 in the morning. I'd be pretty mad. Decided to head out early. I'm gonna go to a cafe, work a bit, eat a lunch, and then head to the airport early. All of my friends that work in the federal government got let out early today, so I think, I don't know, I'm worried about the trains being messed up, basically, and also traffic. Just for ease, I'm going to the Toast Cafe. They canceled my flight, and now I'm running to the airport, like literally running. They put me on an earlier flight, but when they canceled my original flight, they ended up putting me on like the 9 p.m. flight, which is way too late. The escalator wasn't working, but this is the slowest elevator, and I'm rushing. Oh my god. Oh, luckily no line whatsoever. The stress. I just got the notification that my original flight was canceled, and I'm already here at the gate working. I don't know. What a stressful day. Also trying to explain this to like the agent at the digital ID check place for bag drop was kind of confusing. They're like, we see you're on 3 different flights right now. I said, oh, well, I'm supposed to only be on like the 7:30 as a standby. They said, yeah, that's your original. I said, it's not my original. I made it. But the agent was very confused. And everybody at this gate is overheating and sweating because we all are on later flights trying to get out.
Battery on that smart bag.
Sped through security, but I think I looked suspicious because I was like kind of speeding, and I had to do like the scan where you have to put your hand over your head. And I never usually have to do that, so I get it. There was also no wait, so it kind of didn't matter. And then I got to my gate, and they were like, right after I got to my gate, like 10 other people came running in, and we were all like stripping off our winter clothes because we had all been running, and we were all supposed to be on my original flight trying to get back to the city, so we all sprinted from our various different places that we left from to get to the airport to get on that earlier flight. And the Uber and Lyft prices were kind of expensive, so I was like going back and forth between the two, and I was like, wait, I heard an ad on Spotify that there's actually now a LaGuardia shuttle between Penn Station and LaGuardia for like $10 starting from Uber. So I put in my location for destination as Penn Station, and it was gonna be $18, but it was gonna take more than an hour, and I would have had to wait to get on the next shuttle bus run. So I was like, oh, I can't really do that. So then I was like, okay, fine, I'll just like pay the price, because otherwise like the bus was an option. Anyway, so I was like, oh my god, such a good price, like why is it suddenly so cheap? So I booked it. The reason was because I forgot to change the destination back to my house, so I ended up having the Uber drop me off at Penn Station. The reason being is I had put in my destination. He was right on it, and he told me about how Ubers work at LaGuardia and stuff, and the strategy behind it. I'm like, okay, cool, I don't have a car, so I'm never gonna have to do this. I was explaining to him because he's like, oh, where are you going next? I was like, oh, I'm trying to go home. He's like, you live at Penn Station? I said, actually, no. But I said I was trying to check out the shuttle bus price, and then I forgot to change the destination. So he was like, yeah, just change your destination now. I said, yeah, sir, I tried to do it before I got in, but I said, it was telling me that I want to confirm because it was going to be like $308.78 to change to like drop me off at my apartment. He's like, there's no way. I said, that's what I also was like, because it doesn't usually cost that much at all. He's like, no, it should only be like this amount of money. Number one, I think he thinks that he makes 50% of whatever Uber charges, and I was like, I wasn't gonna break it to him, but he was like, no, I know that I wouldn't make that much money for dropping you. He was like, there's no way I would make $150, because that's like what you make driving people upstate. Number one, I don't think he understands Uber, the best because he drove someone from the Bronx to Albany and then he just drove back. That was like 2.5 hours. And he didn't pick up any fares or anything along the way. So I was like, he was like, yeah, but I mean, it was $150. I said, okay, but that seems like a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle, a lot of gas and stuff for $150. Plus, that's like an entire day's worth of driving. Anyway, I took the train back and now we're here. During the ride from the airport, I did a lot of work in the car and I am feeling very nauseous. So I will be eating just broth for dinner. And then I'm going to go to bed and then tackle work in the morning early. Because I have so many things. Some of these things are coming in. I don't even think on my projects, but my managers tell me to do them. So when your manager says, your manager says. I did get like a good 8 hours of work in actually, because I did work through lunch, which was good. But also like, oh my God, so stressful. I was sweating so much when I got to the airport. Anyway, with that, I'm going to eat and then I'm going to say, see you tomorrow. I'll start a new vlog, being back in my regular schmegular life here in New York. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I did some interesting stuff in DC. At least I gave you some gift shop ideas. But anyway, on food. The food was really good. I am kind of still considering moving back. My friend and I were going back and forth about moving back. And we're thinking the food and some of like the differences in like rent, for example, is potentially drawing us there. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.